What's going on, everybody? C4 here, back with you today. We're going to be looking at the running back ratings. Madden has released the official top 10 running backs at launch for Madden 21. And here in our little mod that we got going on, I've gone in and adjusted the running backs, at least for the top 10, and opened up discussion about them. If we agree with the ratings, we disagree with the ratings. Very similar to what we did yesterday with the quarterbacks. But really, we were looking at the quarterbacks. Generally, obviously, there's going to be a big talking point between Dak Prescott and Carson Wentz, both at 84 at the bottom. I thought the only one that thought maybe was a little too high would have been Drew Brees getting a 93. But even then, you're nitpicking. 93 is not a brutal rating for Drew Brees. I just might have had him at a 90 tied with Brady, or maybe even just a base 91. But we're looking at running backs today, and we knew one running back for sure coming into the day was Christian McCaffrey was going to be a member of the 99 Club, and rightfully so. He was absurd last year, the best running back in football, I think. I'm not going to say by a considerable amount because Derrick Henry was insane, and they're kind of different style running backs, but they're still running backs, and McCaffrey was better than Derrick Henry. I think definitely the second member of the 99 Club alongside Patrick Mahomes that we know so far. That's well-deserved. And I mean, obviously there's, if you look at different websites and stuff like that, there's apparently the leak ratings, and I actually was working on, usually one of my banger videos when I talk about the worst ratings in Madden. But I'm going to have to wait because they changed. I remember Saquon Barkley, all the rumors, he's like an 88, 89, and then they upped into a 91. So they're probably going to make small changes here or there. So I'm just going to have to hold off on making that worst ratings video until we know what it's official. Because actually I actually recorded that earlier, and then they changed Saquon's rating to what I actually thought he should have had, which is a 91. We'll see that in a second. So we're going to have to hold off on that. But just focusing on the running backs here today, Christian McCaffrey with a 99. No disagreeing here. He is exceptional. I will say, for this video, it's just the ratings. Pay attention to it. Like the base overall, I didn't actually, because it's not available yet, have their individual attributes. So we're just looking at the base rating. Now, Derrick Henry is going to be the second highest running back in the game with a 93 overall. I actually kind of think that's low. 93 is not a bad rating. I think him being the second highest rated running back in Madden 21 is completely reasonable. I would have given him like a 95, though. I think 93 is a little low for Derrick Henry. And someone made a tweet about it, these ratings. In general, while we like talking about the ratings on the channel, in reality, it's almost the abilities, what abilities certain guys get. Because, you have to factor that in nowadays. Back in the day, ratings were king. Now, with you could be a 93 with bad abilities. You could be an 87 with some of the best abilities, and that 87 is going to be better. So, definitely need to hold judgment on how overpowered some of these players are going to be until we know the full picture of what their abilities are going to be in combined with their ratings. But a 93 for Derrick Henry's not bad. Him being running back 2 is the right decision. I would have given him a 95 though. If McCaffrey's a 99, I think Derrick Henry, based upon how he finished last season, especially that playoff run, I would have given him a 95. There's a tie here for the second, but we'll go Nick Chubb, alphabetical, 92 for him. He was really good last season. I think that's absolutely a fair rating, especially considering how below average in general that Cleveland Browns offensive line was. The fact that he had the year that he did, I think 92 for Nick Chubb is very fair. We have Ezekiel Elliott, who got a 92 overall. Most likely will be an X factor. I actually disagree with this. I would have given him a 93 just to have him as that number 3 running back. I think Zeke's still ahead of Nick Chubb in terms of, he's a little bit, I think in terms of talent, I think Zeke's a little bit better. Even though he's starting to slow down, I would be a little worried if I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan that all those touches are starting to add up for Zeke. But I would have given Zeke, if this is the landscape, I would have given him a 93, so he'd have firm control of that number 3 running back spot and have Nick Chubb at a 92. But Zeke at a 90, when you're getting into nitpicking over one overall point, it's not that big of a deal. I think they got the top 5 generally right. And rounding out the top 5, there's a tie, but we got Saquon Barkley, who is a 91 overall, despite Twitter going off last night about him being an 89. Now I'm going to say that maybe he was an 89, and then all that Twitter backlash got them to go up his rating a little bit today. That's probably actually what happened. But if not, him getting 91, that makes sense. In terms of pure talent, I think in talent, I think Saquon and McCaffrey are in their own tier. They're tier 1, tier S when you're looking at running back talent. I think Derrick Henry's just below that just because he's kind of one-dimensional. But McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley, they're your 2021, 2020 style running back that can do it all. And Saquon with the 91's fair. You got Alvin Cook also getting a 91, number 6 for the running backs. I think that's fair. He's looking for big-time payday. Who knows if things are going to get ugly like Le'Veon Bell in Pittsburgh with Alvin Cook in Minnesota because he wants to get paid. And by all means, running backs, they need to add. I talked about this a couple videos ago. They need to add new contracts for running backs in real life. because of lifespan, the wear and tear, they need to get like more guaranteed money or something like that. And by all means, anytime a running back holds out, even if like for my own team, Philly's in a good scenario right now with our running backs. It's a committee. We don't have a superstar. But if a running back ever held out for more money, even if it's on my favorite team, I would, as a former running back myself, high school practice legend, by all means, these guys need to get paid more. But Alvin Cook was exceptional last season. Finally able to stay healthy for, I don't even know if he missed any games last year, because that was kind of the knock, that he couldn't stay healthy. He showed that he is definitely one of the premier backs in the league. He's the number 6. Number 7, we have Aaron Jones. Obviously, huge fan of the channel. Got to get him a proper face scan there. He got a 90 overall. Now, it's one of those things. It sounds a little weird for him to be a 90. He almost had 19 total touchdowns last season. So, based upon his performance, a 90's it just seems kind of weird that Aaron Jones is a 90. But it's fair. I don't disagree with it. I don't think it should be lower based upon his year last year. But we've seen, you kind of get in that one-year wonder. It's not necessarily a one-year wonder for Aaron Jones. His last 2 years, he's been really solid. But, you see, if the ratings are official, Shaq Barrett, who had 19.5 TFLs, 19.5 sacks. He only got an 85. So they kind of like looked at that blowout, huge breakout type year, and they were kind of moderate and with giving him his rating of an 85. And maybe they could have, if Aaron Jones got an 87, for an example, I don't think there'd be a lot of fans that'd be bickering and upset outside of the Green Bay Packers. So 90 for Aaron Jones, it's not bad. It's maybe a little weird, but it's not bad. Running back number 8 is Joe Mixon, who got an 89 overall. Fair rating. I mean, it's one of those guys, remember back when he was coming out of Oklahoma, had some red flags, but I was pounding the table for him to come to Philadelphia. He's such a talented running back. He is exactly the modern day running back. He can do it all. He's a power back. He can catch 60, 70 catches if he needs to. So I think an 89 for Joe Mixon is good. I mean, that's going to be even more overpowered for everyone that wants to play Cincinnati with Joe Burrow. Number 9, first up, we have 9 and 10. We have Alvin Kamara with an 88 overall. It was a down year for Alvin Kamara. Maybe how much of that was Drew Brees missing, 5-6 games or something like that. But it definitely still was a down year. But don't get it twisted. Much like Saquon Barkley, who also kind of had a down year with injuries, Alvin Kamara is still an elite running back. Definitely belongs on this top. But it's like Alvin Kamara, Alvin Kamara, Joe Mixon, Alvin Kamara, Aaron Jones. Like, you ask anyone, they're taking Kamara if you had to pick an option. So it's just, the optics are still a little weird. And then rounding out the top 10, we have Josh Jacobs, the rookie out of Alabama. Was a beast on my YouTube channel with our Raiders. He got an 88. I think this is the worst one of the bunch. And like I said, it pains me to say it because I like Josh Jacobs and he was super fun to play with him at. But 88 is just way too high for a guy entering his second year, considering the guys that aren't here that had better seasons maybe. I think 86, 85, 86 is where I would have had Josh Jacobs. By all means, give him that superstar debt. But 88. Tied with Alvin Kamara. I think that's just a little too rich for my blood, a little overrated. I would have knocked it down a little bit because now you just got to look at the running backs outside of that. If he's an 88, you look at Miles Sanders for the Philadelphia Eagles. Josh Jacobs had they pretty much had the same yards of scrimmage. Both of them had 1,300 yards of scrimmage. Miles Sanders had 6 touchdowns. Josh Jacobs had 7 touchdowns. And Miles Sanders had 2 less starts than Josh Jacobs. So they're both entering their second year. Josh Jacobs, first-round pick. Miles Sanders, second-round pick. So where's Miles Sanders? If Josh Jacobs is an 88, I'm not going to come out and say Miles Sanders has to be an 88. I think he should be in that conversation. But Miles Sanders needs to be like 86, 87 at minimum if Josh Jacobs is an 88. And I think from the leaks, Miles Sanders is like an 82, 83. So without a shadow of a doubt, out of these top 10, Josh Jacobs has the most ridiculous rating out of all of them because every other rating makes sense. I would have had Derrick Henry still at number 2. I would have had maybe Zeke, the sole holder, of number 3. But then you look outside of the top 10. What's Le'Veon Bell? 1,200 yards, 4 touchdowns. You got Miles Sanders, 1,300 yards, 6 touchdowns. Mark Ingram, 1,200 yards, 15 touchdowns. Chris Carson had almost 1,500 yards and 9 touchdowns. Austin Eckler, 1,500 yards, 11 touchdowns. Leonard Fournette, almost 1,700 yards of scrimmage, but only 3 touchdowns. So the outside of the top 10, there's definitely a lot of running backs who could be laying claim to maybe I should have got that 88 and been there over Josh Jacobs, but more so for me in particular as an Eagle fan. I'm going to be very interested to see, now that knowing Josh Jacobs, a sophomore running back who had 1,300 yards and 7 touchdowns, got an 88. What is my Philadelphia Eagle running back who's entering his sophomore season who had 1,300 yards and 6 touchdowns? Anything, if he's under an 85, that's garbage. I'll tell you that now for Miles Sanders. But I don't know the official ratings just yet. I'm sure once they drop all the team ratings, I will do like a specific, I'm going to react to all the Eagles ratings type video. But for the top 10 running backs, generally, they got it right, I feel. Very much like the quarterbacks, the top 10. I mean, it's the ratings, right? They're not going to be that much different, drastically different than what they were at the end of the Madden 20 season. And at the end of the day, really, it's almost like the ratings are fine, but what kind of abilities do these players have? Are they going to be really overpowered? Do they get a bad ability and they're not going to be used a whole lot? So that's another thing we got to wait and see whenever those start dropping. But how do you guys feel about the top 10 running backs? Do you agree or disagree with them? Let me know in the comment section below. We'll be back, I assume, tomorrow, breaking down the top 10 wide receivers. And then maybe after that, we'll get more access to all the ratings, and I can drop that top 10 worst ratings video. But that does it for me today, guys. Thank you for watching. Until next time, it's C4 saying peace out.